guys, the plant doctor here. On today's episode, what we're going to do is asexually propagate or graft a Japanese maple. So this particular maple here is Acer palmatum dissectum garnet. So this is a garnet Japanese maple. I wasn't real sure what cultivar of Japanese maple this was. Luckily, I found a tag on the bottom that said it was garnet, so we're going to assume that this is a garnet. Have you ever wondered when you walked into a retail garden center and you see all of these plants, the azaleas, the roses, the Japanese maples, whatever it may be, all of them look identical? Well, how are they doing that? It's relatively simple. They're clones of each other. They're genetic clones of each other. So there's a parent plant like we have here. They take a cutting from that, and what they're going to do is either graft that to another plant like we're going to do today, or they will put that plant, in rooting hormone, and then stick that in a media, and it will root out. So that's how, in the nursery industry, how when you go to a retail garden center like Lowe's or Home Depot or your local garden center that's independently owned, when you look at a blood good Japanese maple, they look exactly the same. It's because they're all coming from the same plant. So what we want to do here, just like in a previous video that we did for softwood cuttings, coleus, we're going to go back 3 nodes. So I'm going to take my pruners here. These have been sterilized. We clean these with alcohol before we use them. And I'm going to go back, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and just above the 4th node, I'm going to make a cut. Alright, so this is all we need, is this guy right here. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all the leaves off of it. And we refer to this as a Scion. Alright, so this is our Scion wood. And what we're going to do with this is graft it onto rootstock. So let's go in the garage and I'll show you how it's done. Alright guys, so we're back in the garage here. We have our Scion wood that we cut earlier. And so what I have here is our rootstock. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this piece of wood and insert it into the trunk of this tree. So this is just a basic green Japanese maple. You can grow these from seed, or you can order them online. There's growers out in Oregon that will ship these to you, and you can buy them by the hundreds if you wanted to. But first things first, it's very important that everything stays sterile here. So I've got some rubbing alcohol, and so the first thing I'm going to do, this is my grafting knife here. This knife you can get on Amazon. That's where I got this one. It does a very good job. I don't know if you can see the brand there, but this is a truly garden grafting knife. I've done several hundred grafts with this knife, and it does a really nice job. So what we want to do, we just want to take some alcohol, wipe this down, we'll lay it on the side. It's important that the blade not make contact with any other thing. So thankfully on this knife, it has a nice lower handle there. So when I lay it down, the blade will actually not touch the table. It will remain in the air. And just for extra precaution, what I like to do is hang the blade off the end of the table. And that's what I'm going to do right now. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of alcohol. I'm going to put on this paper towel. I'm going to clean the Scion. So we're essentially doing surgery here on a plant. We amputated this off of one plant and we're going to insert it onto another. So think of this as kind of like being a medical doctor, and we're doing surgery. We've got to keep things sterile. My hands are sterile. I've got alcohol on them. I sterilize it. My knife's sterile. This is sterile. Here again, I'm going to lay this to the side, but I'm going to stick the end that we're going to graft onto off the edge of the table. It's not making contact with anything. Where we're going to make our cut, I'm going to sterilize that as well. So now everything is sterile here. So we're going to take our grafting knife, and what I like to do is kind of bend the tree just a little bit here, and the lower you can make this cut, the better. All right, so Eventually, if this graft takes, what we'll do is cut this here and get rid of all this. This is not valuable in the trade at all. So we want desirable cultivars, bloodgood, sangu, kaku, garnet. I mean, there's hundreds of Japanese maples. So we're gonna make a slit. What we wanna do is expose the cambium layer here, that green layer. So if you were to cut a tree in half and look straight down on the trunk, in the middle you've got the wood, the white or the tannish part. On the outside you got the bark, but in between the wood and the bark there's this green ring that goes all the way around. That's the cambium layer, so that's the vascular tissue of the plant. So we've got phloem and xylem moving nutrients up and down in the plant. That's what we're looking to expose. All right, so I'm going to take my knife and probably about a 3/4 of an inch cut. See if I can get that close enough for you guys to see. All right, see right there? I'll kind of rotate around, and you can kind of see the green. It's going to be on the outside. We're going to do the same thing to our Scion. All right, we're going to wound the Scion, but I'm going to kind of make, if you've ever sat on the front porch and whittled on a stick, kind of the same thing here. I'm going to take one cut, I'm going to flip it over 180 degrees. I'm going to make another cut. There's our Scion. Okay, you can see right there. So now what we're going to do, I do not want to put this in the middle of this cut here. I want to put it on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. Reason being, remember, we're trying to match cambium to cambium. So the green in this wood, we're trying to line up with the green in our rootstock. We want the vascular tissues of the plant to start to grow together. When that happens, what we're going to see is the nutrients that are getting taken up by the roots of this plant will start to be transported into here. It will grow new leaves, and then we have a new tree. So I'm going to take my Scion, I'm going to line it right up, try to get it edge on edge. So you can see here, if you look real close, I do not have that Scion in the middle. I've kind of got it off to the side a little bit. That's very important. All right, so here again, we're trying to match cambium layer to cambium layer. We have a product here called Buddy Tape, B-U-D-D-Y, Buddy Tape. So I'm gonna take a section of this. You can get this off Amazon. It's very good grafting tape. So it has a lot of flexibility, a lot of pliability to it. I like to go ahead and stretch it a little bit. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start about 1/2 inch below my wound. I'm going to wrap that around there. And then I'm going to keep wrapping up so that approximately half the width of my tape is going around the previous rotation, if that makes any sense. And there you have it. So we're doing this in the summertime. So typically what I like to do if I'm doing this in the summer, I forgot to grab my spray. But what I'll do is I'll take a bag like this and go get you some type of fungicide, daconil, copper sulfate, anything like that you can pick up at Lowe's, Home Depot, or I would encourage you to support your local retail garden center, the local guys, support small business. Go pick you some up, squirt 1 squirt of that in your bag. The Scion that you just put on, put it over, and then you can kind of seal it up a little bit. You want some air in there, don't push all the air out of it. Seal it up. And what that does, it keeps your Scion moist. That's very important. We do not want that Scion to dry out. The last thing I'm going to do before I put this in the shade to begin to hopefully take some of this stuff on the top. I'm going to move this down so you can see a little better. I'm going to cut some of this off. I'm just going to take my pruners and get rid of all this. We do not need this. What we want to do is encourage the nutrients coming up from the root to go to the Scion. Now we don't want to cut all our leaves off here, okay? That's very important because we still need these leaves to produce sugars. That gives energy to the plant, but we don't need excessive leaves on the top of the plant. So you can see there, I'll probably cut the top half or so of that off. In terms of what to do with it now, keep it out of the sun, most definitely. Keep it out of the sun. I have a place over here in my garage, kind of the corner, it doesn't get any direct sunlight at all. I'll put that over there. And within about 3 weeks probably, I'll know if this graft took or not. How you'll know that the graft took is pretty easy. You'll see the buds that you have on your Scion here, they'll start to swell. And then sometimes they'll even start to leaf a little bit, but we won't see this thing leaf entirely until next spring. Okay, so don't expect to do this and then within 4 weeks you got a new tree. That's not how this works. All right, so if this Scion does take, what we'll do, we'll take our clippers and remove the rest of the vegetative material from the rootstock. So what we'll have is this new Scion, that garnet Japanese maple, that dissectum, that fine leaf with the red, that will be our new tree. Guys, if you're liking the educational content on this channel, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us out. This is the Plant Doctor. Thanks a lot.